Guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make a DIY macrame camera strap. It's really easy to do for beginners and it looks super cute rather than just the boring strap that comes with your camera. So I've been wanting to do this for like a really long time now and I'm finally filming a video for you guys. So I hope you enjoy this and hopefully it's easy to follow along. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. So the supplies that you will need are some scissors, some beads of your choice, these D-ring keychain hooks, a ruler, and some macrame cord. I'm using a really skinny cord because once you get all the strings onto the clip, it gets kind of crowded. So I first started by measuring my camera strap and it was 42 inches and I times that by 6 so that it would be long enough. I accidentally measured mine wrong at first. I times it by 3 and I ended up having to add on cord as I went. So I'm telling you now so that you won't have to add on as you go. And if you want a little bit more in case that does happen, you could actually times it by 7 so that you'll be sure you have enough cord. But don't worry if you have to add on because it's really easy. You can just tie a knot and then tuck it behind so it's not noticeable. But anyways, those are the measurements that you will need. So I first just started by doing the lark's head knot, which you just seen. It's really easy. You just want to fold your cord in half so that the two ends meet. And then you just create a little loop and then pull the strings through. And you will need 5 strings, but when you fold them in half, it creates 10 strings. So yeah, you should have 10 strings total on your little keychain. So the first thing that I did was I created 2 square knots at the top. So to make a square knot, I just used the 2 outer strings on both sides and I just kind of made a number 4 for the loop, and then I took the other 2 strings through the loop and then I did the same thing on the other side to complete the knot. I don't know if you know how to make a square knot, but I thought I would still explain it. Hopefully you can just tell by watching. And then now I'm going to do the double half hitch, and it's going to be kind of creating like a diamond shape. So I just started by dividing all of my strings in half so that there will be 5 on each side, and I just found the middle string and I started by going towards the left first. So the left middle string is your working string, so you just want to keep it at an angle the whole time, and then you just want to take the left string next to that one and you want to wrap it around twice so that it forms a knot. And I just kept doing that all the way down the left side, and then I took the middle right string and started working towards the right. So I just created a loop, wrapped it around twice. Sorry, it's kind of hard to explain, but I hope that you can just see what I'm doing and follow along. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube if you don't know how to do the double half hitch, but it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So now it should kind of look like a little triangle arrow shape, but then I just took the 2 middle strings and I added a little bead right there because I thought that would look really cute. And then I started going downwards to form the diamond, and I started on the left side and just did the same thing, but instead of starting in the middle, I just took the very end piece on the left side. And yeah, I just started by wrapping it around twice on every single string, and it's pretty simple. Once I finished the left side, then I moved over to the right end string and I did the same thing. and then once you get to the middle, you just wrap it around twice to finish it off. So I actually just repeated that same process again, so there should be 2 beaded diamonds. And now I'm going to be doing that same process, but instead of putting a bead in the middle of the diamond, I'm just going to be doing a square knot in the middle. So I'm just going to be doing the same thing by going downwards to the left and then downwards to the right, and then I will explain the middle part. So once you finish that, you're just going to leave out the 2 end pieces on the sides, and I just took the 3 pieces on each side of the 2 middle strings. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I just created a square knot right in the center of that. So that's what it should look like. This time I started on the right side, but it doesn't really matter what side you start on because it ends up looking the same. And then I just worked my way downwards to the middle center string, and then I did the same thing on the other side. I just took the left string and I went all the way down to the end and finished it off. And then I ended up just creating 5 of these with the square knot in the middle. And yeah, it turned out really cute. So once you finish creating 5 of those, it should look like that. And then I started by doing a different design for the middle part of the strap because I just felt like changing it up a bit. I originally wanted to do something else where I add like beads throughout it, but it just wasn't really working out the way I wanted it to. So I decided to do 3 small square knots for the first row. So I did a square knot on each side using 4 strings, and then I took the 4 middle strings and created another square knot right in the middle, and you will have to take 1 string from each of the other 2 square knots to do that. And then for the next row, I created another square knot down below right in between the other 2. So I did that by just leaving the end piece out on each side. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm probably just making it more confusing than it has to be, but you can just kind of tell what I'm doing here. I'm kind of doing like a pattern where it's like every other, if that makes sense. So I just did that same pattern for the whole middle part. I did the first row is 3 square knots, then 2 square knots, and then 3 square knots, and so on. So I ended up doing 83 rows of the square knot pattern, and I was going by the length of my camera strap that came with my camera, and as long as it measures out to 42 inches, like the whole entire strap, when you're finished, then you know you did it right, because I did that for the whole middle part of my camera strap, and I did 83 rows of the square knots. So once you finish doing all 83 rows of the square knot pattern, it should look like this. So now I am doing the 5 diamonds with the square knot in the middle. So I'm just repeating those same steps that I explained earlier, and I just created 5 of those. Once I finished creating 5 of those square knot diamonds, the next thing that I did was the same as the very beginning of the camera strap. I just added the 2 beaded diamonds. So I just did the same double half hitch diamond, starting from the middle going downward to the left and then to the right. And then I added the bead onto the 2 middle strings. And I thought I would just show you an easy way to get it on if you're struggling. You just want to start with 1 string first, because if you try to do both strings at the same time, it's kind of hard. So I just took this small little crochet hook and I just shoved the 2 strings in there, and it's really easy if you do it that way. And then I just completed the diamond. To finish the camera strap, I just added the 2 square knots like the very beginning, and as you can tell, my strings were getting really short towards the end. So I will show you how to end off your camera strap, because this is the hardest part of the whole camera strap. I kind of struggled on ending it, but I had to watch a tutorial on how to figure it out, because it took me a really long time. So I ended up cutting off this really short string because I didn't need it anyways. So you're gonna want to leave the 2 end pieces on both sides, and then I just left 3 strings in the middle. So that way you will only have 5 strings left, like how we started in the beginning. But when we did the lark's head knot, we folded our strings in half, and that's when it created 10 strings. So I will be showing you a way to end it, but you want to make sure you have 5 strings there. When I cut those extra strings off, there was still some ends sticking out, so I just took my little crochet hook and I just tucked them in the back so that they weren't noticeable. And then here's the tricky part. So you just want to take one of the strings and place it through the little keychain, and then you want to cross it over and then put it back through and then pull it up through the loop. I don't know if that makes any sense, but here I'm showing it again. I just put it through the keychain, and then I always made sure that the string was like crossed over, and then I put it back through, and then I pulled it through the loop so that now it looks like a lark's head knot. So hopefully that makes sense. I think why it wasn't working for me for the longest time is because once I pull it through, I didn't like cross it over or something. So yeah, that was the trick, because it just kept falling out. Hopefully you can tell what I'm doing. I tried to go like really slow. So yeah, that is how I connected it to my keychain. So the next step is you're just going to basically do a square knot on top of the other square knots. And I don't even know if I was doing the square knot right here. I think I was just really tired after doing this for so long. But I just did 2 square knots on top of those other 2 square knots just so that it would be secure. And then I just cut off those 2 middle strings, and then I cut off the other 2 strings so that it would be shorter. You don't want to cut it off completely. You want to make sure that there's still a little bit more room so that you will be able to tuck it in the back. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!